What's up, guys? Welcome back to Skillet's Tying Table. Today we're going to be tying a woolly bugger. I'm going to be using an olive green color because the bluegill in my pond really love it, and it just seems to be a really good fly. Huge shout out to the Georgia Trout Camp for really mentoring me in my fly fishing career and helping me move along on the fly fishing path. So I'm going to be using this black thread because it stands out against the green and gives us this really cool look to it. So we're going to start at the base of our bead. I'm using a cone bead because it's extra heavy and it kind of will hide the ragged ends of the fly, if there are any. We're going to wrap all the way to the bend in the hook and then take our scissors and just cut the tag off. Now, you're going to take your marabou. What I like to do is wet my fingers and just kind of work it down so that it's less super fluffy and kind of everywhere, because it does get in the way. Now, you're going to do some wraps back to the bead. Not too many, so it's not too thick, but enough that it looks and feels secure. Wrap it pretty good right at the bead so that it doesn't kind of pop up when you cut it. But now, you cut it. If you're having to use a big pair of scissors like me, go ahead and wrap to kind of clean that up to make sure that it's not frayed or anything. Now, wrap back to the bend in your hook. I like to wrap real tight so it doesn't slip around in the next parts of the fly. Now we're going to tie on our legs. I cut it a little too short, but we're just going to have to do with what we got. So I'm just going to lay it right there and wrap a couple of times just to secure that down. I'm trying not to do too many wraps because you don't want your line to build up and be too big. Now we're going to take our body. I'm using just this kind of brown and black, kind of like tiger stripe color, because it looks really good against the olive colored fly. So I'm just going to strip a little bit off the end of it so I get a real good tie down at the base, and then lay it across the fly or the hook and do a couple of wraps there. And there you go. Now, go ahead and wrap back to the bead of on your hook. You don't have to use a bead. It's just preference. And then take your body. I like to wrap one wrap back behind the hook and try not to catch any of the other stuff. That'll help cover all your threads and stuff. And there you go. So if the first wrap, since you took that stuff off, I'm going to go ahead and give it 2 so it looks even and doesn't look like it like drops off to a lot smaller size. And there you go. I'm wrapping it all the way to the bead, or I'm going to kind of wrap it around my thread and then pull it back and then do a couple of wraps right there, pinning it down real tight in place. Now take your scissors and you can go ahead and cut off your excess body. Now, here's the part where you get to really start making the fly. You get to take your legs and slowly wrap it back to the bead on your hook. You can see the feathers are spreading out, and if they're kind of clumping together like they are, bring it back and run your fingers down the feather like the opposite way so they like kind of like fray out, and that'll help them be separated when you do the wrapping. Wrap all the way back to the bead. Try to do it in equal intervals so they're not like jumping or too close together. And then wrap a couple times there right around it at the bead, securing it real nice and tight. and then cutting off your excess. There you go. I'll go ahead and peel it back and do a couple extra wraps to make sure it's real nice and secure. Now, as you can see, our marabou tail is really long, so we're going to fold it back like along the hook, and we're going to cut it just a little bit longer than the bead of the hook. And now you can see that really looks like proportioned to the fly. Trim off any really loose hairs. If you do want to, you can put a little bit of shine and stuff on there to give it like some flashy, but you have to do that like before you do the feathers. But there you go. If you don't look like, if it looks really frayed, you can wet it, like put it in a glass of water, and don't worry, it'll look a lot better. Now we get to whip finish it. So get your whip finisher. Get your whip finisher. Take it, and if you do know how to whip finish, you can just skip this part, but if not, I'm going to show y'all how. Hook in right there on that little hook. Wrap around the loop. Create a triangle. Wrap 1 time, 2 time, 3 time. Go back to you. Pop it out of the bottom loop. Pull down, slide out of the hook. Cut off your tag. And there you go. You have mine is the old-timey clamp where it's like a screw, and sometimes there we go, it doesn't want to come out. There we go. Get it where y'all can see it. There you go. You have a nice olive green woolly bugger. This thing is great for bluegill, trout. I'll even catch a couple of bass on here if I'm lucky. But there you go. I hope this video was helpful. Please like and subscribe, and keep watching my videos if you want to keep learning how to tie flies. And if there's a certain fly that you want to learn how to tie, please do ask me or in the comments below, and I will try to get a video out on how to tie that fly. So see y'all next time.